Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Geek Tech Show. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Merrell 85 mid shoes. So those are actually used to be my favorite shoes, and before the Merrell actually came out with those brands. And you can see the vintage kind right here. Those actually been made by the Sierra hikers and some of my best shoes that I ever worn, boots that is. I like the design, I like how they actually look, and as soon as I found the Merrell was making something that looks exactly like it, I had to go and get it. So let me show you the different shoes here, and the Merrell themselves, what they are almost identical copy of those same exact shoes. Well, not really, but very similar. Same kind of a design, very similar colors, and similar in every single kind of way except the name itself. In fact, it leads me to think that this used to be the same shoes, or maybe the Merrells themselves had to have the same design, or even maybe those two companies are the same company, just under different brands. So one of those is correct, not sure which one it is, but I really like those shoes, just the way they felt before. And when I saw the Merrell coming up with identical kind of shoes just like it, I was like, I gotta get this. If they actually are the same performance as the Merrells, that's great, because they don't make them anymore in the same kind, the same design, and the same color scheme as well. And it has everything in here too. And plus, it's a Merrell. The best thing about this Merrell brand is that the Vibrance insole, making it super comfortable for you to wear to walk and to go anywhere you want, especially on the trail and even off the trail itself. This is better than most kind of shoes that you will ever wear. The Merrells are famous for being some of the best kind of shoes that you can just slip your feet right in here and it feels super comfortable inside, especially those with Vibram on the bottom. Vibram Merrells combined, making it some of the best shoes on the market. Let's go ahead and do some testing of those shoes. The first is the sniff test. It does smell good. Now, why do I do the sniff test? It's kind of simple. You don't want this shoe to actually stink. When you're getting the shoes themselves, you want it to air out pretty fast, and the Merrells are pretty good with that. On the other hand, I have seen some shoes that when you get them out of the box, the stink level is just BO. You can't actually stand it. And because of that, it's much harder for you to put them on. In fact, I would think they're made in some kind of a factory that doesn't really care about what you put on your feet. The last thing I want is to put a toxic thing right on my feet themselves. Did you know that the feet absorb everything that you put right on them? This is why it is so essential and important for you to have the proper footwear that you're wearing and make sure it is toxic free as well. The next test is to check out how good do they bend. Now, it has to be done with one shoe, by the way. What you're doing, you want to make sure it has some kind of ability for it to go up and down, because as you're wearing this and you're working on things, it has to be some kind of flexibility in the shoe itself. The next one, the shoe itself has to have an ability to open and close, and those shoes do have it right here. You can see that it has real laces. I like the real laces. It has metallic things right here, so it's not gonna rip as easy. In fact, I don't think those things will ever rip apart. Talking about ripping apart, those are metal as well. As you can see, those stand the test of time. They never ripped ever in their use. Not only that, the bottoms are still almost perfect after years of use as well, and heavy use too. So hopefully the Merrells will stand the same exact test too. Now the Merrell bottoms, those are the heavy duty bottoms over here. Now you should always get shoes that have very good textures right in the bottom. Nike is famous for making textures that are super slip. That's not good. Although they are so beautiful with style, a lot of Nike shoes, they're not good with this part. And this is the most important part of any shoe. You don't want to slip, because the last slip you do is the last slip you ever have. You fall down on something and you break your back or you get really injured, that's it. You're done forever. This is why the most important thing in a shoe itself is the bottoms. In fact, I have seen people wear shoes and completely worn this down, and they're still wearing it. You are actually risking your own safety by wearing garbage shoes. If the shoes themselves, if this part just slips apart and doesn't have that slip in here, this shoe is no good. Make sure you trash it right away. So those shoes have very good grip to them. You can see there is a few half an inch of it sticking right out of it. And you want this in a winter shoe. In the winter itself, there's going to be so many slippery surfaces out there. Next thing is this right here. This is very important. Protection. So you don't accidentally hit into a chunk of ice or anything else you might hit, especially in the winter time. Also, it has to be waterproof too. So those shoes not only stand the test of time here, they actually stand a bunch of different tests that I just went through in you. It also has Dry Select right here logo, meaning those things will keep your feet dry. And that's also essential for winter gear. You don't want to have anything that is water slipping right into the shoe itself. It defeats the whole purpose of winter gear. Now, when it snows outside, it doesn't matter as much, but when it rains, or if it's wet slush, all that stuff, if it gets into your feet, you're going to get cold, hypothermia, on the trail. If you're walking, if you're doing some heavy-duty trailing, you want to make sure your feet are warm at all times. This is why having superior shoes is the key. Next thing we're going to be doing is putting those shoes on and seeing how they look like on me, so you can see them on 360, and I'll tell you how they feel on my feet. So let's go ahead and put them on. They are pretty good, not too tight. And right away they feel very nice when I just put them on. In fact, they feel like slippers. The great thing about Merrells themselves is how easy for you it is to tie and put those on. Double tying them is essential. But those don't have as much place for you to tie them up and double tie them as much as other shoes. The strings are a little bit not too long. So double tying those is going to be a little bit of a hassle with those shoes. Putting them on, they feel very comfortable, unusually comfortable. Like just when I put them on right inside, my feet feel so at rest and so good on them. Unlike the Moab 2s, those feel really great, by the way. I'm surprised they feel so good when you put them on. Now let's do a few tests here. This is very easy to do for you to move your feet up like this. Also, they don't feel, when I put my feet right inside of Merrells, this is the big difference between Merrells and other shoes, is that I don't feel any tightness whatsoever in the shoes themselves. In fact, they feel loose and they feel good in a good way. Also, you can easily adjust those shoes right here with the laces themselves. You can just tighten them up to make them fit your feet much more better in any way you want. So those shoes are really great. Not only they feel good, and also they look good as well. But looks are secondary to the way they feel. In fact, the best kind of shoes, when you put them on, you feel as if you have nothing on. That's the way you're supposed to feel. Also, they shouldn't be feeling too hot or too cold. In this case, I don't feel any temperature difference really. Not too hot, not too cold, and yet they feel very good, very comfortable. I really like those shoes. So those are probably going to be my favorite type of shoes that I'll be wearing. When my other type of shoes are no longer as good anymore. So you might be asking, which are the shoes I wear right now for the winter? Once I'm putting them on right now, are those. Those are the Moabs. Moabs number 2. Number 2 Moabs, what does Moab stands for? Mother of all shoes. Really. But regardless of what you think, those shoes are just amazing. And compared to the Moabs, between both of those shoes, it's really hard to make a decision which ones are the best because they're so similar to them. Made by the same company, and yet I actually like the distinct style of those a little bit better than the Moabs themselves. Although the Moabs look kind of cool and they feel very comfortable, somehow the memories that I have from wearing something like this makes this almost the perfect shoe. So out of the rating of 10, I would say those are probably qualifying for maybe a perfect 10. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Also make sure you subscribe to my channel. There's gonna be a funky little bell. It looks exactly like this on the bottom of the screen. Make sure you press on it and you move it all the way down where it says post notifications are on at all times, so you never miss another single video from the Geek Tech Show.